Git is one of the most important tools as a software engineer. It's how you organize your work, how you collaborate with others, how you keep track of changes, how you figure out how things go wrong. It's at the very core of software engineering. There is no programming without Git. Now, I'm not going to explain basics of Git to you. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain how I use it to work, how a software engineer would typically use it, how we use web tools, how we use our CLI to work with each other. And I'm going to show you the human process of using Git, not just the commands, not just the cool things, the actual thought process that go on in my mind and other people's minds. So right now we're on Git, which is basically like GitHub, but I self-hosted on my server because I like having more problems in my life. And here we can just see 3 commits. So if we just take a quick look, I made 3 commits, adding an initial file. That's one commit, adding another one. And obviously in the web views, usually you have a couple of options to browse code. So this is a very good starting point if you are just looking at what the people are doing. If they ask you to just, take a quick look at some commits, this is a very good way. So here we are. Let's jump into the CLI now. So we can see if I start off by just doing git log, I can see what me and my teammates have done. And we can see just 3 commits here. So I'm going to start off working on my feature. And to do that, first of all, I'm going to create a branch. A branch usually has a prefix like feats, or feat stands for feature, fix, sure. Different teams have different things. Some don't have it at all. It's honestly up to you. Doesn't really matter. Usually in teams that I've worked in, we have a ticket on as part of the branch because it's easier to organize in your ticket in your issue tracker and stuff like that. So I'm just going to invent a ticket like eng, which stands for engineering, and the ticket number 123. Initializing project. Right, that doesn't check me out to Git. I'm going to check out said branch. And I use tab to autocomplete there. Depends on your shell. Here we are. Let's verify I have a clean thing to work on. Now, I'm going to open another terminal window. One of them is going to have my editor. One of them is just going to have the CLI. Now, we have one file here. And I see, okay, well, maybe this isn't the most organized, and I actually want to write a function init that just takes all this, starts it, runs it. And I would do something like this. Okay, it works. I would run the CLI. Sorry, not the CLI, the tests. I would make sure everything is kind of working so that I am ready to commit. I'm going to jump to, actually, I'm going to keep it side by side here. It's a lot nicer. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to start by just having a look at the status. I have edited index.ts. If you do git add dot, you're adding everything. If you're sure that this is how that you've only edited one file, you want to add everything, go for this. There's a really nice option called --patch, which actually takes you through every single diff. And actually, the diff here is not very good. You can see the top that we're minusing here, this, and we're adding this, minusing this, adding this. But really, it would be nice if the diff was organized. I can do an interesting option here, if I remember, which is S for split. And actually, this splits the diff, so it helps you figure out what you actually want to add. I'll get onto that later. For now, I'm just going to accept the entire thing. What that's done now is this. It's got the index.ts. If I do git diff, well, we're actually not going to see anything. Let me do a commit now. Now, there's a couple things I can do. If I do git commit, little technical problem there. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to do git commit. Okay, this takes me to my editor, and I'm going to write a commit message. You can actually see what I have here. And there are other options for git commit to show you the diff, to do all sorts of things. But right now, I'm just going to write sure. Sometimes commit messages have prefixes. I actually had a conversation with a colleague at work recently this week about whether they're actually useful or not, because it can be really arbitrary as to what you write before. Some people go really far and they put like eng -123, like very specific numbers. Honestly, just stick to whatever your team likes, like what your team agrees on. The worst thing in engineering, maybe not the worst, but a very, very bad thing in engineering is inconsistency. It makes you slower, it makes you think about things that do not need to be thought about. If my team has decided that this is how branches are named, prefix, ticket, name, I never need to think about it again. That's it, right? It's a decision you don't need to make, and it's consistent. So if you're looking for all the feature commits, you can just search for feed. If you're searching for a specific ticket, you know that you can also find it by searching or grepping this. So that's a very important thing. So I'm just going to write sure reorganizing initialization. I'm going to save and quit. Perfect. That is committed. If I do git log, we can actually see a few things here. We can see this is where main is, and this is my commit. Now, I'm going to change something, and what I did here is a move commit. Now, I'm going to show you something that you don't want to do. What you wouldn't have wanted to do was write something here. And I'm gonna show you why. At the same time, I'm gonna show you how to rebase things. Let's say that you actually wanted to add an exclamation mark to all of them, and you realize, oh, I really wanted to add that to the last commit. I'm gonna show you a really easy way to do that without doing fix-ups for now. I don't want to get into fancy things. I want to show you concepts rather than tricks. There's a lot of ways to speed things up in Git, a lot of options to explore, a lot of other CLI tools, which I'll show you one later called LazyGit that I use a lot. But right now I'm going to show you the more basic things. Okay, I've edited this. I'm just going to very quickly run through this, and actually I don't even need a commit message here. I'm going to say like whoops, and you'll see why I don't need a commit message. If I do git log, there are 2 commits here, and okay. Now remember the thought process, like, okay, actually that change should have been in the last commit because it makes it easier for reviewers to review. And I'm going to show you what it looks like now. So let's pull, oh, sorry, we need to push this branch as well. Set upstream feed -eng -123-initialization product. Okay, and let's just refresh here, and we should have this one here. Perfect, new pull request. Now, the description and title of pull requests, depending on your type of team, matter. Now, I'll tell you something. At where I currently work, Requesty, we actually tend not to write much on title and description. We write some amount on the ticket, but because we're an in-person and very small team, we more or less know what each of us is doing. So if we're talking about an issue that we need to fix or a feature that we want to do, then we will just kind of know. So there's no need for description, and if you do have questions, just look across the table and ask the other person. If you're a remote team, you probably want to be way more diligent with this because it really matters. Now, there are kind of 2 philosophies to how you review a pull request. One of them is correct, one of them is wrong. No, I'm joking. But I think you should review by commit. And that is because you can see the history that is being told, right? When you're writing code, you're telling a story of a feature, of a fix, of something you're doing. And it is way easier to understand the change as a reviewer if the story is told well. And you can't, by just doing files changed, you just see the changes, whereas commits, you see nice messages and incremental changes. So I started this kind of halfway by telling you that we made a mistake with a commit here. Let's start with the first one. Okay, the difference is actually not very good, and also this is not a very good way to view. You want to go on split view. Split view is way easier. Now you can see that it is way easier to see what's happening here. We can see that I think the non-highlighted color is a simple indentation or move. I'm not actually quite sure, but we can actually see what's happened here. Let's continue. How do I move to the next commit actually? can I not go to the next commit? Operations, revert, browse source. Wow. GitHub actually has like a next commit option. This is actually not super nice because I have to go back and then click here to see what happened. So I don't know. Git doesn't have that. That's actually quite weird because now I have to like go back and then click the commit that I want. Whereas I just want to press next and see a story. Now you see I just added this, and this is actually quite correct. And I told you that this is more correct, and I'll show you why. At the same time, I know there's a lot of concepts going on. I'm going to remove that last commit, the whoops one. And I'm going to do that by doing something, by doing a rebase, an interactive rebase, which is what the -i stands for on main. Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties again. Rebase -i main. Now, this file looks really scary, but it shows you your commits. Pick just means kind of pick this commit and leave it more or less. And you can actually see a lot of options here. You have pick, reword is for changing commit message, and you can just change the commit message here. And I'm going to change the commit message up here. And exclamation, because remember, oh, not that. We are changing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squash this commit down into this one. So that means that everything that we did in this commit is going to go down into this one. Exit and save. We get taken into a commit edit message. So we can actually see this is a combination of two commits. This is the first commit message, reorganize installation. And whoops. Oh, actually, we didn't apply the name. We're going to do that here. And exclamation. Exclamation. We're going to save and exit. Okay, let's do git log. You can actually see this changed, and we don't have that latest commit. Let's do git diff from where we are to one before, or the other way around, if I remember right. There we go. And I'm going to go back to the web view. Oh, sorry, we need to push, and we actually need to force push because we are changing history. Let's review this. I'm going to do a small exercise with you. What is wrong with this diff as a reviewer? Now, I told you at the beginning of this little exercise that we are doing a move, right? We're basically moving everything from the left into a function called init. And that's good, it's fine. But at the same time, I added the exclamation marks, right, in the same commit. This is bad. And the reason it's bad is because it's hard to keep track of as a reviewer and as the writer of this code. Imagine that this was 200 lines of code that you changed into a function, right? The change itself is not very large. You're just putting things in a function, simple, but the diff looks big. So it is your job as the engineer to make sure that the reviewer understands that it is just a move. Because if the reviewer is under the impression that you moved this into a function and you did changes, can you imagine the mental overload that goes through the reviewer's head to actually have to scan not only the move, which will probably be a really horrible diff, but also pick up on any mistakes that you potentially made? That is really bad. So you don't want to do this here. Yeah. So now the reviewer has to see that everything did move and that now you did the change. So actually, bad. You don't actually want to do this. I'm going to leave it because I wanted to show you an example of an error that people can make and make it harder for their code to be reviewed and therefore for mistakes to happen, and all sorts. Now, that was kind of a nice introduction to writing, to rebasing, to rewriting history, all sorts. I'm going to take a small step back. Now, I want you to pretend that I'm someone else on my team, and I have just merged something into main. We're now on the main branch. This is what main looks like. And actually, I'm going to write something that is going to create a conflict. Hello, not hello world. I'm going to say hello YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna add dot. I'm gonna git commit. I'm gonna say sure changing wording of greeting. I committed. Let me push. Now, I'm back to being John, writing my feature branch, and git checkout dash checks out the last one, so it's like a stack. And we're here. Nothing really changed. Hello YouTube isn't here. But we realized that our teammates merged something into main, and we want to get the changes up to date. So, like you normally would, you don't merge from main because that creates a really ugly tree. Like it creates it creates merge commits, which I think are quite ugly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rebase from main, and I get a conflict, right? Now this is not scary. It looks scary. It's not scary. Let's see what GetStatus is telling me. The interactive rebase is in process. We tried a commit, reorganize exclamation. You are currently rebasing, blah, 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 unmerged parts. Let's go to the left here. Let's check out this file. Okay, what is the conflict? The conflict is that head, which is where main, the thing we were trying to merge from, or actually where we're currently checked out, I can never quite remember, wants to have hello YouTube as in this position, but our change down here, these two lines, have func in it and hello world, and so it looks really scary, but actually think about it. It's just move this into here, and that's it. Save. You're gonna git add the file that is under conflict. Let's see, git rebase dash continue. This editor thing is so annoying. Okay, so we resolved the conflicts. We still want this. We saved. There we go. We're all safe. And if you now look at the git log, you can see that we have our commit on top of our teammates' other commit. So very nice. That's how we rebase from main. And if we didn't do this, we would have a merge commit. We wouldn't have like a linear history, and it's just not as nice. Rebasing is just a lot nicer. Okay, great. So what can we do next? Let's tell more of a story. Let's actually extract out some things. Let's say, I don't even know, person equals YouTube. It's like the person we're addressing. That doesn't really make much sense, but hey, naming is hard. Okay, we did that. Git commit dash help. Let's have a quick look, because I want to show the diff. So we have dash all. Use the interactive patch selection to choose which merge to go from. No. Where is the one that gives me the diff? I can't quite remember. This is when I would actually use AI to figure this out. What is the command in git commit to show diff in a commit message? -v for verbose. Let's just do this annoying thing with editor. It's honestly just a me problem. -v. And I can actually see, we see the git diff in here. It's just slightly nice. You know, we see what was added. So we added the constant. And we changed this line to be this line. All right, let's commit and let's do sure. Or actually fix using constant instead of magic value, right? Because we actually saw that our teammate decided to change this before, and we got a merge conflict. So actually, we don't want that to happen again to anyone else. Perfect. We committed. We're gonna get push. Dash force, yeah. We have to force because we rebased earlier. Perfect. Okay, let's do something else. What we actually want to do is we want to create another function called another greeting. I'm just going to console log another one, another greeting. And we're going to call another greeting. Git commit, git add dot, git commit dash m feat, which is a feature, adding another user greeting. Git push. Okay, what are we looking like in our commit, in our pull request? We have 3 commits, and let's have a look as a reviewer. Remember, reviewer's job is very hard, and it is to actually understand what is happening with your code, right? Don't be a lazy reviewer. Focus when you're reviewing code. It's not something you can do just by looking around and listening to music. Just concentrate. It's something I'm still learning, something I've had to learn to focus and actually try and understand the person that wrote the code. So let's go. We started, on the left is what was changed, and on the right is what did change. Remember, this commit is actually bad. And so, Gaetia doesn't have this like common feature on the commit views. This is annoying. So I'm gonna have to go here, and I'm gonna say this should be in a different commit. Don't add exclamation mark here. I'm just gonna add the single comment. As a reviewer, I'm gonna have to go back to commits. I'm gonna say here, okay, we extracted this into a constant in person, and then we did the actual feature we wanted to do, which is adding greeting. Okay, as a reviewer, this looks good to me. It's fine. The only thing I would be ticked about, and actually this is super annoying that Gaetia doesn't have the per commit adding comments, but I'm going to write something here. I'm going to say I would have the commit that extracts this into a function after the feature commits. This might or might not make sense, but I want it to be an example. Perfect. Let's go into conversation. I see that my teammate has reviewed this, and they have, well, they've left comments. Okay, they've left this one. In this one, I'm going to use an excuse to introduce you a really nice tool that I like called, actually, maybe I'll not introduce the tool. We'll see. And this one here. I would have this commit that extracts this into a function after the feature. Okay, great. So let's reorder that. Let's use our friend rebase, and actually skill issue here. Git rebase dash I for interactive main. Now you see at the top we have our 3 commits that we have, and literally all you have to do, move the order. That is it. Oh, conflict. Interesting. And actually we do get a very interesting comment here, because we have headers nothing, and what is the commit that we're on? It tried to rebase 2 out of 3. It's got stuck on the second, and we are on next command to do 1 remaining command, fix using constant instead of magic value. So actually we do just want to keep this here, and this oh, we see pots. Ah, I see. You see what I mean. Now person is kind of unused for now. If I then continue, git continue, we have another conflict, yes, because now we are actually using person, and we do want to keep this here. Some of these conflicts, they get pretty easy to manage after a while, because Git just gets stuck in certain places, especially when you reorder things. Perfect. Git add dots, rebase continue. We're all good. There you go. Now we have everything in the right order. And that's it. Sorry, we need to push, don't we? Now that we've pushed, we should see this here flip. Perfect. So feet, adding constant. Adding another user greeting. Ooh, and extracting into constant. We messed up, and the reason we messed up is because this change is in the wrong commit now. And I'm going to use that as an excuse to show you one of my favorite tools. To do that with raw git commands is very much possible, and you should definitely learn it. Now, I would be lying if I told you how to do it off by heart. I don't, because I use a very lovely tool called lazy-git, and I love this tool so much. It makes using Git in the more advanced senses really, really easy. What did we mess up? We messed up with person. I'm going to click enter. I'm going to go line by line. This is the diff that we messed up on, and I want to bring that into this commit. Now, I did a few things there. I'm not going to explain too much how I did it on lazy-git, but I'm just going to show you the concept. You can see on the right hand side that we have a patch, custom patch, which is like a difference. So that person change. I'm going to go onto the commit that I actually want to add it in. I'm going to click Control P, which is the patch options, and I'm going to move patch to select commit. And here you can see, if we took the original change, we moved it upwards. That was so easy, super cool to do. And I can go here, Shift P for force push. I'm going to push. lazy-git, oh, wonderful, wonderful tool. And I'm going to do one more thing. When I'm writing code, I treat commits as folders, which is a very important concept. Let's say that I wrote this and I changed that and I thought, oh, actually, that was bad. I needed to add something more here. Yet another greeting to this function. I'm going to go lazy-git. I see the files. I'm going to add, I'm going to commit, and I'm going to say, this is when you would actually use something called a fix-up commit. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'm actually going to write, I am going to write fix-up. I'm not going to do it properly, but, okay, fine, let's do it properly. You've convinced me. It's videos. Let's just quickly git log. Right. Adding another user greeting is what we do want, don't we? Right, so if we do git diff, oh, I can never remember how to do this manually, to be honest. Oh, where is it? I copy and pasted it, didn't I? Oh, yeah, git diff the commit. We see what we did from then until now. To dot commit backwards one. Yes, that's it. There's an easier way to do that, I think. I can't remember what it is. But you see what this commit actually did. lazy-git does this really well because you just hover over it, and incredible. Very, very nice. But okay. I'm going to, I have that in my thing, so I'm going to write git commit -- fixup commit diff. All that does is commit it with a special message, fix up, and then the exact message of the commit. I'm going to push now. And you'll see the reason I pushed is because I want my reviewer who's already reviewed it to see it as a new commit. Because it's harder to go back in files changed and notice that you did actually add this, right? So what you do is you write fix up commits because it's really nice for the reviewer to then review. So you go here and you see fix up. Okay, actually they did change the thing. And you see, oh, nice, brilliant. And let's say you approve and you say, great, all looking good. Just apply the fix-ups. I actually can't approve because this is my own, PR author's comment, I think. Let's just comment. Great. So you think, perfect. I'm going to apply the fix-ups. Now, I'm going to do this manually, but I'm pretty sure if you do... Am I going to do this manually? I can't remember. Auto squash. Ah, that was it. I did remember it. So that's pretty cool, I guess. what that did is it took the fixup commit, it looked at the commit message, and it added the files that I wrote to the commit message. So if you look here, adding another user greeting now actually has the difference that we did make. So that's fixup commits, which are really, really nice. Yeah, that's almost it. I'm going to show you one cool feature that I use all the time on LazyGit, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's say I wrote yet another greeting. Yeah. You see it here, and I see, goddamn. Okay, I'm just going to stage that file. I'm going to go over the commit that I want, and I'm going to press space A, which stands for amend. And that is basically the same thing that the fixup did, but instantly, which just adds it straight away. So when you're writing features, if the reviewer hasn't gotten to them yet, then you just do that, right? Because there's no need to do fixup. Fixups are, for me, a thing that the reviewer does. And actually, if you see on the bottom right, you can see the commands that LazyGit does, which is really nice to look at. So it did a git commit, actually did a fixup commit, and then it auto squashed that commit. So that's nice. I'm gonna force push, and I finished my feature, I've written my code, and now we get a merge conflict? That can't be right. Did we force push? Oh, okay, not sure what that was. I force pushed, we're ready to merge. You do not create a merge commit. This is actually, honestly, a matter of taste, because at the end, you can merge or you can rebase. At my team, we rebase. I prefer to rebase because it keeps a nice linear history. I don't really prefer the other way. I'm actually, yeah. But what I do is I do rebase. So there's a couple of ways of doing this, but I'm going to rebase, then fast forward. Perfect. And that's all done. And if you look at main and pull, what that basically did is it took my 3 commits that I wrote and just plumped them onto main like a rebase. Okay, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I hope I've shown you how I use Git as an engineer to communicate with other people, to help other people review my code, and to write the best software I possibly can. Git is for telling stories, for organizing code, to help writers and readers. It's a wonderful tool, and you should learn to master it. You should learn tools that make it even easier, like LazyGit. I can't stress this enough. I love this. I love LazyGit so much. So much so that it's kind of bad because you start to forget the commands a little bit. So yeah, don't forget the commands. The commands are very useful, and you should definitely know the concepts before you jump onto a tool like LazyGit. I'm going to leave it in the comments. It's super cool. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I'll catch you in the next one.